let's talk about that weird mutated insect. No, let's talk about Phantom Dust, which came out all of a sudden. I'm pretty sure surprising literally everyone that just out into the world. The cult classic Xbox game, which I always wanted to play on the original Xbox, but never, just never had the chance to. There's something very distinct in my memory about, I think XPlay kept having, like, they kept rerunning the episode with Phantom Dust on it. I don't know why, but it's something that just sticks in my brain, and it always sounded like something that would be right up my alley, and I'll get to the why of that in a second. So here's the little story setup. The game takes a while to start. It doesn't feel new. It is very old. That's fine, whatever. The game looks pretty good. It is just a remaster. It's just an upscale. It is very, very strange what they've done here. The game's free. That's strange thing, number one. Number two, it's very obvious playing this for... I only played an hour, right? And maybe I'll play some more. I don't know. But I'm taking this as a demo, like a demo. This is my little taste of Phantom Dust. It becomes clear kind of why you wouldn't make another game and why the other one, it was canceled, or was it canceled? I don't even know. Microsoft's just being weird. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. It's got cool style. It's got a cool story setup. Interesting, whatever, right? But once this 10 to 15 minute goddamn way too long opening ends, which could be in 6 to 8 weeks before I'm even done talking about it, the long opening. Once you get into the gameplay, it's very limited. And I understand things are slow to start, and so fine, right? But even after the first couple matches, it starts being really weird. So you collect these orbs in the match. And the matches are pretty much 1 on 2, 2 on 2, 2 on 1, whatever. Like that's the basic setup. As insofar, I have not seen... Insofar? I don't think that. I haven't seen just grunt enemies, right? Like, there's nothing that you can kill in one hit and they're just there to be fodder. It's always a duel against an enemy. And that's fine, but that's a different experience, right? That's a very different thing. It's a dueling game. It's not a third-person action-adventure game where there's this is the mid-level guy and this is the low-level guy to fight. This is the boss. Like, it's a duel every time. And that's fine. What's not fine is have these little orbs. So I'll get back to the orbs. There's orbs on the battlefield, and they're red or they're blue. That's the ones I've seen so far. Maybe there are other ones. I don't know. That's neither here nor there because of my problems with it. So the orbs, when you walk over them, they'll tell you, oh, this is unlimited use. This is the name of the skill. This is if it's a mid-range, close range, far range. And a couple other things about it, right? The problem is you can't really read all that and understand all that super quickly when someone's throwing fireballs at you. But that's only a minor grievance. The other grievance is now you got 16, like, okay, not 16. Let's call the exaggerations. So you can have 4 attacks, 1 to each face button going on. Now, some of them are defense skills, and defense is very important. Obviously, you can deflect fireballs back at people. You can just block their attacks, etc. The problem starts coming when I got an attack called something vacuum, something along those lines, right? Which is an attack that is a close range attack that hits with a sword, effectively. That's what it looks like, a sword. What is a vacuum about that? It doesn't make any sense. And then you get something called a laser, the laser attack, which is like a little pew pew blast that has an arc, like a weird arc that's for super far range. And it starts being like, why are these things named so bizarrely? Like, I can never get down exactly what this does. Like, what's the difference between a fireball and a gunshot blast? And like, it's just, I need like a shooting range to figure all this out. And the whole time I'm playing it, I'm getting heavy Lost Kingdoms 2 and Folklore vibes. 2 games that I love. I love to death those games, and I will talk your ear off about how if they ever make a 3D action adventure Pokemon game, it should play like Folklore. Because holy shit, that makes a lot of sense, and you really should look into Folklore just for 5 minutes and see that, wow, that would be really cool in the Pokemon universe. But I digress. The deal with those games is in Lost Kingdoms 2, you get a card deck, right? And you'll have a certain amount of uses for each card in your deck, and you can cycle these different cards in and out and use them with the face buttons, right? And you're using them to fight all different types of enemies with different elements and attributes and all of that. And it all works pretty well. It's also a From Software game. Fun fact. Which was the first From Soft game I loved. Haha. Okay. But it's weird here because you're just dueling. And these characters you're fighting with in 6 to 8 weeks when the game lets you play, the characters you're fighting with are straight up running around like just psychopaths, literally doing stuff like this. They just do weird stuff, and somehow that makes them dodge your abilities. It's not fun to like run after someone and they shoot you with their fireball, you block it, and then they teleport away. The rules aren't quite set up. Some things are like, oh, this is a really cool ability. It's single use though. It's like, well, I'd kind of like to have fun and use all these abilities and have an in-depth combat encounter, but everything has to be a duel, so it's this guy with 15 HP that I'm fighting, and I need to hit him 6 times and I win. And that's just not as fun as the adventure you can go on in a Lost Kingdoms 2, which I'm just going to keep talking about, where you're fighting all these different creatures and you're finding new creatures that turn into the cards you're using, and you're setting up your deck. And I'm sure there is a card deck, and I think I stopped right before that point in Phantom Dust, oddly enough. But it just is missing all of that for me. It's not quite there, really. It just feels so kind of half-baked for what I want, which is more of the Folklore type of game. And those games, Folklore came out later than Phantom Dust, but Lost Kingdoms 2 came out around the same time, around 2003, 2002. So, like, this game comes out at that same time too, and it has a cool story and setup and all that, but man, is its combat rough and old, and it has these hooks though that I can see why people love this game. I can really see it. I can see like, oh, if I have this laser attack and they get really far away, but if they get close, I can do this and I can block this by that's really cool. The whole rock, paper, it's not even rock, paper, scissors, but it's the if this, then that kind of mentality of all the moves. I see that. I get it. But it just doesn't quite work. It's all too confusing in an unnecessary way. Just like that move I said was called vacuum something, that was a melee attack. I don't know. It might not even be called vacuum. I really hope it is. Doesn't matter. And then the moves you can pick up on the world will regenerate in the same spots, but they will regenerate different things. And so you can get totally screwed over where you get a bunch of, like this guy, I have to fight via range. Well, here's 3 melee moves and a barrier. And I'm like, well, I guess I'll use all these moves because they're single use, and I'll wait for the orbs to respawn. And now I'm running back and forth like an idiot. Just like the AI is. Like the AI will start to like go up bridges and do weird things. They're like, go up, go back, go up, go back. And like you turn a corner and then they go back. And then you go back around and they turn, and it's like, it's this weird cat and mouse game. Like they're trying to get you in the right spot and you're trying to get them in the right spot. And if you're both trying to do that at the same time, you're just shuffling back and forth. It's just very strange. That being said, this is obviously for the fans. This is obviously a goodwill gesture move, and it is really bizarre. I don't know why it's free. I don't even know why it exists. I like that it exists. I think every game should be playable like this, just 1080p on a PC or on an Xbox, like whatever. I think every game from that era should be like that. I have no problem with that. It's just not a real game for me, and it has a lot of weird problems, I think. Not the least of which are all the characters have these giant lips, like cartoonish lips. Also, the guy you're playing as, completely uninteresting. But the main villain lady, super interesting. I want to play as her, but instead I have to play with Big Lips McGee over here. Also, I've been talking about this game for 10 minutes. I'm still not playing. I'm still not playing the game. And you're still not really playing the game for like another 20 minutes when you're fighting. I'm trying to drag this on so we can get some footage of the stupid game. But no, I have to talk to this man and pick a name for myself because everyone's forgot their name in this Amnesia Society. I don't know. The game's fine. Lost Kingdoms 2 is a much better game. That is a fantastic game. Maybe even better, maybe just newer, so it's easier to get to. Folklore, which I have right here. Folklore, PS3. Go play it. I think IGN gave it like a 9 or something. It's a good game. It's a good game, right? Published by Sony. 720p. I don't know, I didn't really learn anything from the back of the box. Anyway, that's Phantom Dust. Oh, I can finally move around. It only took 15 minutes. I'm picking on it. I'm picking on the game. It's not that big of a deal. Because I certainly wasn't playing anything 15 minutes of the new Fire Emblem. I'll tell you that right now. That guy's in the way. It's a game. This is at this point, Phantom Dust is a game that exists. It's not for me. It's fine and it's free, so I think everyone should play it out. There are achievements. Giant shrug.